Hi, Eric Linask here in the TMC newsroom, coming to you from Silicon Valley, San Jose more specifically, this week, and I'm talking with Paul Anderson from Array Networks. Paul, thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure.
Good to be here.
We're talking a little bit, a lot of mobile devices, a lot more mobile devices today heading into enterprises, a lot more applications that people are running on those countless mobile devices. What are some of the implications of that in the enterprise?
Okay, so on the one hand, what we're seeing is IT is noticing a lot more of these mobile devices coming onto their network. So traditionally, you have your desktop computers, you have your laptops that are corporate owned and given out to the employees and so on. And what you're seeing today is the employee coming in with an iPhone or a smartphone or an iPad or an Android, and they're saying they're starting to work with it in certain instances, maybe email, maybe something else, but they're telling IT, hey, I want to use these things to conduct my business and so on. And IT is kind of left to say, how do I didn't own this, I didn't bring this in, how do I contend with this? So that's one issue, and things that are, issues that really surround that pertain to security, right? So the more I let these guys use these devices that belong to them, there are all kinds of different devices, I'm really worried about what ends up on those devices and where does that data go from there. So that's one thing they have to contend with. The other thing that we're seeing with our customers is they're wanting to actually deliver applications to mobile devices, whether that's because they have employees that are out there doing tasks in the field and so on and so forth, and there's key applications that they need. They can be much more productive using, say, an iPad or, say, an Android or something like this. So the challenge for them is, how do I contend with perhaps what we call the consumerization of IT, and also how do I select the best strategy for delivering applications to mobile devices? So this is where we come in. We have a product called Desktop Direct, and what that's able to do is it's able to take any application environment that's pre-existing on, say, a laptop or a PC, something that you may already be comfortable with. You're comfortable with the security, you've already paid for the application environment, your employees already know how to use it. What we're able to do is take that desktop and using our Desktop Direct product, we're able to extend that desktop to any mobile device, like an iPad, an iPhone, an Android device, and so on. And as we do that, we have tremendous endpoint security. So you're not really sending your data anywhere. You're controlling a pre-existing application environment. So you can be assured that they can use the application to be productive, but you don't have to worry about the data residing on that device. And so if you think about it, it kind of cures two things. One is how am I going to send these applications to mobile devices? But also it frees me up a little bit to say, you can, because I don't have to worry about data and supporting a particular device, I can open it up to say, well, I can provide corporate-owned devices to some users, but also you can say, bring whatever you want, run what you brung, and you can do that very cost-effectively and not have to worry about security.
What about security issues from accessing the network by the device? So you don't have application security concerns, but what about device security?
Device security, one of the beauties about this is you don't have to go too far down into device security. One of the things that we've noticed is that, as you say, let's say you run a traditional VPN to a mobile device like an iPad or so on, right? One of the things we've noticed is that the security settings that the corporate IT imposes on that tablet can actually mess up the personal settings on that thing, so that you go, okay, yeah, I can use it for work now, but you've also impacted my personal experience. We don't have that problem. So we don't get into actually securing the device. What we do is we have a very low, very small footprint on that device. I mean, the only thing you need on the iPad, for example, is you go to the App Store, download the Desktop Direct client, you download that on your iPad, and when you push that button, you bring up your work desktop, you operate within that environment, which is fully secure. When it closes, it has zero impact on your personal iPad, and you haven't left anything behind. So to answer your question about taking security a step further, we don't have to worry so much about securing the device. We make sure we secure the data.
What's the difference between native apps being delivered to mobile devices as opposed to, say, HTML5 based websites?
So I think that's another excellent point to cover. There are definitely some trade-offs. So as we've been working with customers, the two routes that we've seen as far as the approaches they're considering. So when we show them what we can offer, they're actually kind of pretty stoked on it, because they really haven't, they know about, their first instinct is, I probably need to develop a native app for this particular thing, right? And we get the opportunity to come in and show them Desktop Direct. And they go, it kind of changes their thought a little bit, and now they're in a position of weighing these two options. So the one thing that you'll get, say, from a native app, if you go down that road, is usability. If you take the time to really create your own native app, at the end of the day, you may have something that functions a little bit better than perhaps a PC-based or a laptop or a workstation-based application that you've moved to an iPad per se. Now, there's a lot of things we've done in our product to make it very intuitive, actually to transfer the user experience from a keyboard and mouse to an iPad experience. There are a lot of hand controls and things we've done to make it actually very productive. But at the end of the day, the advantage for the native app is you may get something more focused and a little bit more usable. But the downside is cost. That's a big one. How much is this going to cost me to develop this whole native app, right? And the second one is I can't develop a native app for just every platform out there, right? I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to settle on Android, or I'm going to settle on iPad. And then you're back in the business of saying, well, I can't, now I've told these guys what they have to run, they can't bring what they have, I'm back in the business of buying the equipment for them, right? So that's another cost element. And the other element is time to market. I can take a Desktop Direct, throw the appliance in the network, have either IT or the end users register the desktops they want to access, and then they go to the App Store, the App Store, and they get the client, they install it, and boom, they're productive on all their enterprise apps immediately at a very, very low price point too, compared to what it takes to develop a native app, pay for devices, and get that whole thing rolling. So there's always going to be pros and cons. You may even find yourself in an instance where ultimately you may want to go to a native app that you developed, but in the meantime, this gets you up and running straight away. Solves the consumerization of IT issue, solves the security issue, gets everybody productive, tons of benefits, deals with security and so on. So whether you choose to go down this road permanently or use it as something that gets you by for a period of a year at a very low price point while you move to a native app, or you end up using some mix of those two, we think we have a solution that for a lot of enterprises makes a lot of sense.
Got it. Paul, thank you so much for joining me
That's all I have
today.
for today. Thank you.